As you may or may not know, today was my first day at the main wire.
Busy day.
I can hardly hear you. Why is that? Say that again.
Busy day. Hello. Check 1, 2.
Oh, I see. Now say hello.
Hello. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Did you have me turned down?
Something might have had you turned down. Hold on. Say hello again.
Hello. Hello, 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 hello.
Say hello.
Hello, 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 hello.
I think it's doing more better. Say hello.
Hello. Hello, 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 hello.
This was the problem the whole time.
Oh, wow. Okay, now your camera's frozen. Did you bump the camera?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, everybody.
Okay, you're back.
Hello, how are you?
No, my camera's frozen.
It's been one hell of a day. So let me just tell you. We got a problem in this country. We have a problem. What did I do? What's mine on? Mine's at 50 and yours is at 54. Well, you have a little squeaky voice. So.
I don't have a little squeaky voice. I have a great voice.
Let's call Steve Robinson. See if he answers. Who knows if this will work?
You're going to call him right now?
I am. I don't see that it's...
Available. At
Hey.
the tone, please record your message.
Sorry,
when you
Steve.
have finished recording, you may hang up.
All right. Come on, Steve. Okay, so let me just tell you what this job is. This is a mixture of all the things I've ever done in fierce pitch combat.
That's pretty fun.
It's
That sounds
writing,
cool.
it's speaking, it's coordinating, it's everything.
And like being brave to public people.
Well, that's
and...
not, yeah, but I haven't had to do any of that. I mean, I can do I mean, I will be considered a Nazi in no time, obviously. But I haven't been out there doing it. It's Featherston who's out there, and Steve who's out there. And we had him in court. John Featherston today is in Lewiston, Maine. And guys, don't worry if you don't think your Maine matters to you, because it's happening in your town too. Lewiston, Maine, Featherston is out there. Tonight we are live streaming this. And this guy is getting sworn in for his job as a Maine city councilor. Now, we don't know his citizen status.
Okay.
He appears to have not been truthful about where he lives, because where he lives is a condemned old building with no house, but it was an old chicken restaurant. And he's also got gun charges against him, but he's getting sworn in as a city councilor in Maine.
In Lewiston, Maine.
Lewiston, Maine. And so Featherston, at one point goes up to the guy and says, well, he's just sitting there. Are you really going to do this? Are you really going to try to be a city councilor, even though obviously you're not? And he doesn't say anything. He's silent. As far as what he does, is a constituent, but they feel so entitled. He could have cared less. He felt compelled not at all to answer questions from the press, anything. His lawyer was sitting in the room. His lawyer, by the way, the lawyer's dad apparently is some bigwig at a major Maine newspaper. Whether or not it's the Bangor Daily News, I'm not even sure. I'm missing half my brain cells. But between that and what I've read in the Washington Free Beacon about the stuff going in Minnesota is, we talked about this last night a little bit. This is huge.
Well, yeah, and we talked about it this morning, too, because obviously this morning, there was a little bit of rumors of this last night into this morning, but it was confirmed. Tim Walz put out a statement withdrawing from the Minnesota governor's race, which tells you, because there is not enough there right now to make somebody withdraw from a governor's race. Do you think? I mean,
there that we see, no.
Right. There's not enough of the iceberg showing above the water yet. for you to withdraw from the governor's race. Because the case that was prosecuted, that's all the fraud, that's the whatever 80 Somalis that have been prosecuted for those, hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud that they know about, that all the newspapers have been talking about how they've reported on this case that was started under the Biden administration. That case was started years ago, and it's been reported on, and he was still running for governor.
Yes.
So if they're confident about their story about the daycares and about all the other places where there's potential fraud, if they're confident about their story that this is all just a fabrication by white supremacists like, Nick Shirley, and we're just all making it up and inventing things, and they're totally daycares that are totally full of lots of kids that definitely aren't related to or friends of or paid actors of the daycares. Like, if they're confident that these are totally all legit above board daycares, then why would you possibly withdraw from the governor's race?
Well, exactly.
There's no reason today to withdraw from the governor's race if the stuff that's publicly known right now is all there is.
No. And that's why I think that this is, and you've heard other people say that, I think this is almost like a gambling scandal where everybody knew that the veil was so thin that if one went down, they'd all go down. And that's why I think that this is going to just remake the look of the Minnesota Democratic Party. It is. This is just pure cheating.
Right. And there's one other thing I want to comment about here, because I think it was Matt Iglesias actually who was saying on Twitter that essentially what this shows us is that there's a whole bunch of people that have big state level political positions that are utterly incompetent. Maybe this wasn't Matt Iglesias, I don't know, but essentially saying like the reason why Tim Walz is as big a name as he is and has as much scrutiny on him as he does is because he was elevated to a national campaign. It's possible none of this would have come out to the level that it has if he hadn't been elevated to a national stage where a bunch more people know his name. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that's part of the story here, and that's a part of the story that's related to the hollowing out of state and local news by hedge funds and by the changes in the media and by, Google and Facebook as the monopolies on the digital advertising space that's made it hard to like carve out a space for advertising as like a digital newspaper. There's all these reasons and forces that have caused local and state news over the last like couple of decades to just completely dry up. And, not that there aren't still people out there doing some of the work, but it's so little like read and paid attention to. The resources are so scant. There's just so few reporters doing it and so many like board meetings to go to and stuff that you can tell these people feel safe. The people in Minnesota feel safe. The people in Maine feel safe to do completely corrupt and incompetent things in a completely blatant way, knowing that nobody is going to bother.
Yes.
And like that's, the other day in the chat, we were talking about it, how there was, the Wakefield Human Rights Committee in their meeting that's like streamed live on Zoom that people can watch, joked about a Republican selectman killing himself because he's gay.
Yep.
Like, they're the Human Rights Committee. Are you serious? And they felt safe to do that. And Mark in our chat was saying he was the one who happened to be watching the meeting who, like, wrote it up as a story. But without people doing that, you let really odious people run all of these organizations and be the stewards of your tax dollars with zero repercussions. And you can tell that these people have felt safe for a really long time. And it truly is like the fact that Tim Walz is who he is and was governor of a state for 2 terms without the level of scrutiny on him for people to ask questions about his weird, shady history and his, how he invented that his son is special needs and like all these crazy things.
Stolen
like,
valor stuff, going to China 25 times or whatever it was.
Like, I'm just a football coach who likes to start GSAs. Like, what a weird dude. And like,
Yeah.
the fact that the level of scrutiny on him was so light that, I mean, not just the billions of dollars of fraud that could take over his state completely with no oversight whatsoever. Not just that, but like also just that he is who he is and was able to, for so long, for 2 gubernatorial terms, just skate on this stuff. All it takes is a friggin' YouTuber showing up in his state and all of a sudden he can't run for governor.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's pretty amazing. And that's an indictment on the state of, smaller scale news organizations in this country now. Because, yes, the national media, I think that a lot of like the newer media, like TikTok and YouTube, is much more heavily national, right? Like, so you get scrutiny on stuff at a national level that you don't at a state or a local level. And I think that's why these people a lot of times feel like they're safe. They absolutely feel free
remember
to
there's
like
that-
join,
Yes.
to, be sworn into the city council, even if they're not a citizen and have gun charges. Like, why wouldn't they? No, who's going to stop them?
Look at Minnesota. Chicken fried dancing around with Somali people, eating Klingon gach and like, almost puking and having bottles thrown on his head in 2020 with George Floyd. And they let the city burn. They let the precinct burn. What? Holy frig!
Well, yeah, and Tim Walz's wife out here saying, like, the smell of burning tires is wafting through their kitchen window. Like, how was there not scrutiny on them at that time?
Right.
But there wasn't, because there wasn't enough presence by smaller scale media until he was the vice presidential nominee.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, like, I mean, you and I have some familiarity because we've been around some Beacon Hill hacks here and there, and you're obviously about to have a lot more familiarity with the main variety of hacks. But, like, I think that it would boggle people's minds to know how absolutely incompetent and corrupt people are in city and state government in some of these states where there really are very few challenges to any kind of power of elected officials. I mean, Massachusetts has like one of the lowest rates of contested elections, even within party in the country. Like there's very few people are ever even like primaried within the party. They have a complete impunity. And it's like really a fascinating dynamic that there are people who like Tim Walz who are able to be governor and serve as governor for this long while essentially setting billions of dollars on fire. And like that what it took is a YouTuber to, check up on some addresses, and that's like all that was needed to drag the whole thing down. But it's funny because it makes me think a lot about like the legacy of journalism in this country even, and like what journalism has meant historically versus what it means now, because we tend to have this like very intellectual view of journalists, and like really what journalism, a lot of it has historically been is like a lot of muckraking or muckraking, how do you
Yes.
say that word, like that it's very like there's a lot of sort of just going and finding stuff out and like printing things about people in an antagonistic way, so I read Tim Walz's whole like really an incredibly long statement blaming everybody else about dropping out of the governor's race. Really, actually, he's selflessly serving this country by dropping out of the governor's race. And I mean, not that he's not doing the state of Minnesota a favor. Amy Klobuchar is going to get into the governor's race. Is like
And
what
we have
it's
to talk about
seeming
that
like.
whole controversy and conspiracy too. Whether she's going to drop out somehow. She drops out. She gets made governor. She has to fill the Senate seat. She gives it to him. You hearing this?
Yeah, I don't know anything about like that piece of it. I haven't followed up on that later today, but yeah, like
Hey, Tom.
Hey, John. By the way, John Featherston here joins us from Lewiston District Court. Is it District Court or Lewiston City Hall? I'm sorry. Oh God, my mind is so
City
fried.
Hall. Lewiston.
My
City
mind
Hall.
is fried. I was just on talking to John and Steve. Alice Shattuck is here, and last I saw
Hi,
John.
Alice.
hi, John.
Last I saw, we were talking about this city councilor who has. It's just an amazing story. He is maybe has citizenship, but we don't really know. He has gun charges against him, and he has lied about his where he lives. We don't know that he lives in the precinct where he's supposed to live in Lewiston. We think he probably doesn't, but he doesn't answer John Featherston's questions about it either. He's just totally silent. And the last time we left John, we were looking on video at themainwire.com, and some lady was yelling at you, John. So can you try to recap the evening a little better than I just did?
Well, I think you did a good job, but I approached Mr. Osmond just prior to the meeting starting tonight and just asked him a simple question. I think maybe you guys saw it on the video. Is he really going to play this out? Because, he's going to cost the taxpayers, thousands of dollars in an investigation and put a black eye on the city. As I'm walking back to, get back to my camera position, Melissa Dunn, a well-known activist here in Lewiston, pushes me and says, "You can't do that. You can't talk to him. You're harassing him." And I'm like, "It's a public meeting. I can talk to him." And then later in the night, and we have it up on video, go to Mainwire Facebook page or our Twitter accounts, you'll see that the Lewiston police actually asked her to leave City Hall tonight because she was such a disruptive force. So I have to thank the Lewiston Police Department for, providing, safe space for journalism tonight. We have a candidate running for governor here on the Republican ticket, David Jones. He was here. He saw it all. I mean,
Yep.
It's just crazy, So in Lewiston, in the last 2 weeks, I've been kicked out of a church because I am a conservative reporter. And then tonight I was assaulted at a city council meeting because I asked a city councilor who was also facing an indictment on Wednesday for stolen gun charges at 8:30 in the morning on Wednesday. He got seated tonight on the city council, swore that he would uphold the Constitution, but he can't tell you where he lives. And 48 hours from now, he'll be in court on gun charges. So what's going on in Lewiston?
Alice was just talking about this, how there's no responsibility for anything. There's nothing. There's no guardrails at all for these people. So this dude, we don't know who he is. We don't really know where he lives. We don't know what his gun situation is. We know he's broken the law a bunch of times, and he's got a fresh new gig. He brought his lawyer to court. He brought his lawyer to City Hall tonight, I assume to intimidate people. I mean, John, this is not how government runs, or is it?
Tom, my program, All Politics is Local. Nobody cares about the local political scene more than I do. It's literally, my heart is breaking as I sit here and watch with my own eyes democracy in America just being thrown out the window tonight. Everybody knows that he's not being forthright. Everybody knows this isn't right. Everybody knows that there's a concern, and yet people are pretending oh, there's no problem here. He's a nice guy. You know what? I can, maybe he is a nice guy, but he's broken the law. He's lied. He's misrepresented himself. Do you want somebody on your school committee or your city council around children who's bringing, on gun charges and had a gun stolen out of his car just a couple of weeks before his indictment came down? I mean, there's some serious concerns here.
Well, right.
And he holds his hand up tonight and takes the pledge that he's going to uphold the Constitution, but he can't tell you where he lives.
Great point. What an invalid pledge that was.
Well, right. And I mean,
the city council's coming back, guys. So,
ooh,
all right.
Here we go. Yes, we'll find out. All right, John, we'll check back in with you tomorrow and see what's going on in the main wire.
Sounds great. Thanks. Everybody
brother.
have a good night.
John's been working all day and night. Let me tell you, he was working all day. He's been writing since 4 this morning, news articles, and now he went over there, and now he's still doing this stuff. And there are people in that court. If you saw the live stream, there are people who hate him there. So that's what reporting is. I'm not a reporter. I've never been a reporter. I've been in rooms where I've been hated before, including my own house. But to keep it together while people are like trying to intimidate you in a public place, get in your face, mess with your equipment, but to have the tenacity to do it, that is like good old fashioned kind of blue collar reporting. What reporting used to be,
Right.
not writing think pieces on nuanced culture topics and weird whatever pronouny revolutions that we're having now. Like it is what it should be, and this is why that you find very few like real good candidates to be reporters anymore, because they've all seen All the President's Men, and they've all seen the glamour of being like a Washington press reporter. Is that real reporters? It's a blue collar job. It's a grungy job. It's a tough job, but there just aren't many left.
Well, right, and it's a very hard job. It's funny, even when you were just writing at the Herald and you were the editorial page editor and you were writing a lot. And it was funny because, I had talked before with my sister about like how there are so many reporters that are really fantastic writers too. Like whether they write like novels or more frequently, books about things. Like John Krakauer is a reporter who's a really fantastic writer, wrote, Into Thin Air and Into the Wild. And one of the reasons why reporters historically have been like really great writers is that they have to write a lot.
Right.
Right. Like, because they have to go and write up all the little dramas that happen at all these meetings and all the things. I bet you there are a ton of people in Lewiston, Maine who have no idea who any of their city councilors even are.
Totally.
Couldn't name any of them. And I think most people can't name like who's on their select board or their city council.
No, I can't
frankly.
for this time,
like,
no.
So, when we ask like, why is this being allowed to happen? It's being allowed to happen because people don't care or know that it's happening. Because there is not a culture of knowing what is going on at all these little like piddly zoning board meetings and stuff. Right. And that's the issue, is the reporters, it requires reporters to be there to write up all these things in a narrative fashion to make it compelling story for people. Mm-hmm. To tell people why it matters. Why should you care what happens at this little zoning board meeting? And, to contrast somebody like Olivia Nuzzi, who is not a great writer.
They say she is. I'm told she is. Incredibly strong writer.
But I think that getting very intimate access with some of her sources did a lot of the legwork there.
Well, right. Right. If it's just a transcript of a prostitute, then it's different.
So, but the writing, that was one of the things about the American Canto book that was so widely panned, is that like the writing quality was just atrocious. That the idea was, and I forget if this was in the article that you read or where I heard this, because I didn't make this up, but that the idea was that you get a trade-off for the crazy, which is that you have this really talented writer and reporter, but that she's clearly not.
I agree.
And so that's why she no longer has the reporter jobs, is because she's like not doing the work and not good at it. It's, if you're really doing the work of being a reporter, like going to all the things and writing up all the stories that you should be writing up, then it's like practically impossible not to be a good writer.
I agree.
Just because mechanically you have to write so much that you have to be at least serviceable at it.
Right.
So that's one of the tells that we're not asking our reporters to do enough reporting in many cases. The Olivia Nuzzis of the world, the people that want to be invited to the White House Correspondents Association dinners without doing the work.
Right.
Or having to be yelled at by a mean president because they asked a hard question, things like that, but it's, I don't know. We're at a turning point in, I think, what journalism is in this country.
Yes.
And what it means. And like, because you can see it in the huffy way they treat like a Nick Shirley. You did not follow. Even it was funny. I was commenting on the All In podcast episode when we were listening to that, and they were like, they're so scared of being sued on the All In podcast.
They are.
And it's like, they're like, we have to say allegedly. We have to say this. We have to say that. Like, most of these people are freaking public figures.
Yeah.
Like, Candace Owens is out here saying all kinds of insane crap, and like nobody's suing her. Well, Brigitte Macron sued her, so that's probably a bad example. But like, you could go pretty far with public figures and like without having to. But they, you know, they kind of asked him that question on the All In podcast. They said, like, you know, are you concerned that you're not doing like fact checkers and running things by legal and like doing all these processes that reporters are supposed to do?
Right, and that way you're right. That is reinventing, because he's starting as if it's the first time ever it's happened. He's starting as if there's no backlog of journalism, you know, of reporting. Mm-hmm. He's just doing what he knows, like just to be a dude who asks questions.
Yeah, he just went to the daycares and asked if there were kids there.
And like, you know, that'll refine itself down to more of an art form that's got rules and
lawyers and all that
stuff.
Yeah.
But right now, because it's been gone, he's just a guy asking questions.
But at one point in this country, it was just people with printing presses shooting off shots at each other.
Yes, you're right about that. Absolutely.
So, and in a way, this kind of like Wild West reporting that we've entered into this YouTube era is more like the reporting that we had at the start of this country when the First Amendment was written, you know.
I agree. But
it certainly wasn't supposed to be an activity that was supposed to be limited to the hallowed halls of an expert class of journalist priests who only those who know the special priestly journalism incantations are allowed to do it.
Right. And I think the difference now is that there's a few kinds of journalism. One is aggressively going after a target, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's one way that media bias manifests itself is ignoring a target, which is what the left does a lot. The right does too, but the left does a lot, is ignore stuff. Ignore Hunter Biden, ignore Benghazi, ignore... And then...
Well, and yell at you for not ignoring it when it comes to the Hunter Biden laptop. Sorry.
The third way is to attack the person who notices stuff.
Okay. Sorry.
So it's okay. So we're just starting out with this podcast, Alice. We'll get it. And that's the thing, is now more than ever, it's been air defense for the people they protect, which is the Somalis or the Tim Walz or whatever. And so they spent so much time simply trying to shoot down stories from other conservative media that they've spent no time bothering to look at anything.
Right.
And so now they're finally looking and saying, wait a second, is there a problem with corruption in Minnesota and Maine? And that's why the Maine Wire is doing so well up there, because there's nobody else doing it. There's nobody else going after the people who are the corruption. They're so busy. It's broken. Let's do the chat. My voice is wanting to get shot.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm amoxicillin. I think it'll feel.
You've been taking it twice a day?
I've been taking it twice a day. Ready?
I'm ready.
Good first day at the Maine Wire, Alice.
That's great. I'm excited.
Don't be excited, because you know what tomorrow is.
The second day at the Maine Wire?
What is tomorrow, Alice?
Your birthday eve?
No.
What?
What's the most tragic day in the history of America?
Oh, tomorrow's January 6th.
Correct.
Serbian Christmas Eve tomorrow.
No, that's not what it is anymore. It's January 6th. Worse than 9/11.
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey, Billy.
You know, I'm going to roll into 2026, same as 2025. Evil Alice. This is an evil woman.
Correct.
The dress downing and the emasculation that occurred with the insurance ID card earlier was just, it's unbelievable. Just she hates you, Tom. And I got to be honest, I'm hating this gravy, garvely, gross voice too. It's just, I called it 3 months ago, right before Thanksgiving, I said this is going to be about 3 months of Tom being sick, and it's just it's
Yeah.
unbearable to listen to.
I agree with that. I agree. I didn't choose to be this. I've tried. I went to the doctor. I got stuff. I'm trying to get rid of it. As far as Alice goes, what's it called? Masochism? What's it called? The female version?
What? It's not a female version. Sadism?
No.
Sadistic?
No.
Masochistic?
No, there's a female version. You're a
Misogynist?
misandrist. That's what it is.
Okay.
I know, Billy. I'm with you.
I have to, because I got to call these balls and strikes. But my goodness, it is just it's unbearable to listen to. Something's got to get done. Please take those horse pills. 52 seconds.
I am, man. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate it. I believe I'm right there with you. Right there with you.
Doing God's work, Billy.
So let me get this straight. The same guy, Tom Shattuck,
Yes, sir.
who has a history of nearly every single sexual foray being thwarted by some simple conundrum, like the latest one was a sneaker in the door.
It's true.
Recently, it was a story about his friend's girlfriend only wanted to kiss him but didn't want to go any further just so she could report back. His trip to Chicago to have a weekend orgy was, what was that one? The plane didn't get in on time. This same guy
Plane didn't get
is leading us to believe that he smuggled Cuban cigars
I did.
and machetes into the country from the DR. I don't think so.
You could, Tim, in 2000, you could just take him on your luggage, not the overhead stuff, but the luggage you checked. Yeah, and I had a bunch of them. I got 3, I think. Well, 3 machetes, I think. One for myself, one for my father, one for my brother. They're still up there. And then some cigars. But yeah, no, the Chicago thing, I forgot what that was. But there were times, yes, when I've been thwarted, when I was meant to hook up and it never happened. And
Sorry about that.
poor me.
I just have to say, the kids screaming in the background while you guys are on the air is giving off Silence of the Lamb vibe. Like, I know your building is very old, like 300 years old.
Yeah,
your
this
house,
year.
It probably has a well
It
in
does.
the basement that Tom keeps his victims. And when Alice is out of town, he dresses up for Paul to come over.
How dare you?
Come on, it's
How
just it's
dare you.
unnerving.
It
There
has
is
a well, and then what's the thing in the basement?
Cistern.
A cistern, yeah.
Right, but no, there is no. I am not a homosexual person, by the way, and I don't have Paul come over. I don't know how this started.
Because you told the story about making out with Paul
I didn't make out with him, Alice. I didn't make out with him.
to get free drinks.
I let him kiss me.
You
It's
made out
different.
with him. That's
no,
the same thing.
no, it's not the same thing.
It
No, it's not. It's not. I didn't. I simply accepted his advance very briefly. I think Paul probably realized really quickly that I was not up for it.
Maybe he was into that.
Maybe.
Hi, Steve from Punta Cana. Hi, I'm Oliver Darcy, and I'm Seth Moulton. And we got rid of John Passantino because his lisp wasn't as pronounced as Seth's is now.
Great pickup. Uh-oh. Alice, suddenly something happened and everything is... What has happened?
Do I have to send you the audio again today?
No. Okay, no, hold on. Something happened here. No. Okay, here we go. Okay. Wow, that's creepy, huh? Here we go.
You guys know how they caught Maduro?
No.
A homeless guy who lived on that military base walked up to him and said, "What are you doing here?"
Is that true? That's a Brown University reference, right?
I guess it is.
My goodness.
We didn't even talk about the guy on Twitter who tried to dox the Delta Force commander to have people go after him and then immediately backtracked, locked his account and tried. And it wasn't even the right person.
Yeah,
It's just stupid, weird self-destruction.
Here you go. Ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, congrats again on the main wire.
Thank you.
managing editor role. Great first article.
Thank
But, I mean, are these people aware of the weak link that you are?
Well,
You cannot be trusted with the secret. You almost revealed it on the podcast last night. And wait until the people that you're investigating find out. You can be bought off with a freaking buy one, get one breakfast burrito at Tim Hortons. I mean, it's not going to take much, but hey, best of luck.
thank you, my friend. I was talking to Steve and the guys today about that, about like all the bribes that like other and the money that other main press gets from the state government. It's amazing about that, but definitely don't offer me any cash, Maine Democrats. Please do not. Shaka said, too thirsty. All right, I'll be ready.
I'm ready.
Ready for the music?
I'm ready for the music.
I'm sorry my voice is effed up again. You don't think who cares. You know what? I had a good run. Did I have a good run? I don't know that I did.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I know this is a late one. It's been a fun evening. Looking forward to more adventures of Tom's in the Maine Wire tomorrow and continuing on. Really excited about all of this. And if you want to join us in the live chat was pretty quiet tonight, but if you want to join us, that's patreon.com/burnbarrel.